Where every day in the Sun they interview a guy who drives a white van, just in order to get the kind of voice of the man on the street in the paper, and he has to answer or just give his opinions really on events that have made the news each week. Just thought we could maybe throw some of these at you, Carl, because we know to see what your views are.
Yeah.
So just the first thing that comes to your mind, the sort of your initial reaction to each of these.
Top all things, but you don't need to know about them. It's just your philosophy on it.
Yeah,
so
just your views.
You know, yeah.
I have had a few days off this week, remember, so I don't know what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I mean, you stayed in London though, didn't you?
You didn't bury yourself, did you?
I normally see the news, but I didn't this week.
Okay. So, what was your view on Will Young beating Gareth Gates in the final of Pop Idol?
Don't like him. No. You know what I was thinking about when I was watching it all the way through?
Yeah.
How he looks like he's got a wire coat hanger in his gob. That sort of...
Right.
Again, it's radio, Carl.
Radio.
It's a great face.
The funny face you're pulling doesn't translate.
And, a radio.
And that's a problem for you, is it?
And just the way he's from a really rich family. I opened up the paper on the Monday or something, and it had like how he went to a posh school and he's got loads of money already.
Yeah.
It's just a bit.
Okay. Right, what's the second question?
There have been huge rises in street crime, especially muggings and carjackings. What's your view there?
More youth clubs are needed, aren't there?
You think more youth clubs?
I like that.
No, okay.
No, I like that because it's so 1950s.
Yeah,
it's sort of like you want a bobby on the beat that'll clip you around the ear.
So once they've come out of national service...
Yeah! No, I love that. And if you find someone smoking a wood bomb, you make them smoke 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is great. That is great.
Did you used to go to youth clubs?
Yeah.
And they kept you out of trouble?
You used to get into a fight afterwards when you came out.
But for the sort of hour and a half you were there?
You had a bit of pool and some boxing and a bit of pop.
Yeah.
So more youth clubs, that's good.
I love him. I love him. If you're at home, just make notes, because this is brilliant stuff. Honestly, you won't hear more honest, from the heart stuff
opinions.
than this. This is great. Go on.
This is not pre-planned. These are your direct responses now.
I promise you, Karl did not know what we were going to do. He never knows what we're going to do, and he always answers honestly. That is the beauty of Karl. It's not an act.
What is your view, Karl, on New York's former mayor becoming Sir Rudy Giuliani? Sir Rudy Giuliani.
Is he happy with it?
He appears to be pleased with it.
Let it go ahead.
Fair enough.
Let it go ahead. Oh, he's genius.
Okay.
Is he happy with it? He's like your nan.
Yeah. What do you make of Michael Greco's character Beppe being axed from EastEnders? Problem for you?
The whole soap thing. What's it's back in Coronation Street, isn't she? What's her name?
Who?
Bet Lynn's. She thought she'd go off and be a bigger star.
Yeah.
All went wrong, and now she's coming back.
Yeah. Always happens, doesn't it?
Beppe will be back.
Yeah.
No one really cares.
Sure.
What was the van reply? What was the guy?
The White Van Man says, obviously they feel the character has run his course, but I think he's a pretty good actor and I can't understand why. So, I mean, obviously there's a White Van Man there who's also got an opinion on script development.
The through line,
the narrative through line of soap opera.
The 12-week narrative, the arc really shows itself up.
The two last ones I want your opinion on here. What do you make of a cat that's been cloned in a secret 2.5 million research project?
To find out what?
If they can clone cats, yeah.
Have they had to hurt it?
Sorry?
Have they had to sort of hurt it to do that?
Have they had to hurt it?
Yeah, or is it just scraping its tongue for some stuff?
I think the cat's fine. The point is that they're cloning another creature, which is potentially very dangerous. Have you seen that film where they bring Hitler back?
That cat. What if that cat turned out to be a world dictator?
Exactly. What do you reckon of cloning generally, Carl? You concerned about it?
When they're cloning for organs, they grow them for the,
Do you know what cloning means?
Yeah, it's when you, make something else, that's the same, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to do any harm.
Okay. And,
great.
And finally...
Put him on the World Council.
Yeah. Finally, what do you make of some city workers who were caught bonking in the glass lifts of the Lloyd's building?
What do I make of it?
Yeah. Is that a problem for you? Do you think that's unprofessional?
Was it the lunch break, or...?
I think it was lunch break.
It was their own...
All right.
It's their own time, I think, fair enough. It only takes 45 seconds to go from the bottom to the top. Is that a problem? They moved quickly. They acted, on instinct. You think fair enough, if that's their natural instincts and they're both consenting, you think fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Carl.
Thanks very much, Karl.
Carl, we'll have more of Carl's World Weary.
It's time for White Van Man.
White Van Man. Yes, for those that don't buy The Sun, they think it's beneath them. White Van Man is a column they have, I think, every day, actually, and they just get sort of some, Joe Public to kind of comment on the week's news. Just seemed to me, that it might be interesting to get Karl's views on some of the big events.
Not because we think that Karl hasn't got a valid sort of viewpoint. No. Because Karl sees the world differently to some people. That's all, and that's what's interesting. Like an artist does, or
exactly. Yeah, he's very bohemian in his outlook.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you're up to scratch on this week's news?
I don't like this bit.
Don't you?
Don't, just relax.
Why
Don't
not?
worry.
It's pressure.
No, because you
It's
just
not
have to give
just-
us your first
Just
opinions.
for your honest answer. That's all we've ever asked of you, Carl, and it's all you've ever given us. Your honest, your first from the heart
Go on.
view, yeah?
All
Don't
right.
worry, just
No,
relax.
just chill out.
Are you worried that people are listening and thinking you're an idiot?
If my girlfriend's listening now, go and have a wash or something.
Go and have a wash.
Not
or
very
something.
nice, is it? Is it the opposite of Napoleon and Josephine? Yeah, go on, go on. If you're going to visit me again, Josephine, for Christ's sake, wash.
Well, I'll ease you in with something fairly easy, a music-based question. Kylie Minogue versus Dido as Queen of the Brits. What's your view there?
Go and have a wash.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
It doesn't really matter.
What, doesn't really matter?
With the Brits. I was watching it the other night, and I think Kylie will be a good-looking old woman.
Ah!
Do you ever do that sort of
I
thing?
want to, Steve. I want to celebrate with you every time he opens his mouth. It doesn't matter. I want us to open a bottle of champagne.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like we did that.
Yes.
No, do you
Go
ever
on.
do that though? Look at people, and another person who springs to mind, Jenny Powell. I don't think she's that good looking now.
Who's Jenny Powell? Is she that girl that used to be the assistant on Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah.
John Leslie?
Yeah, I think she's a bit over the top for a young woman, but when she gets older, I think she'll look.
Be a bit of a
nice.
stunner.
Mm.
Okay. So for you, Kylie Minogue, whereas you don't feel that about Dido, is that right?
She's all right. She's normal. I prefer Kylie's sister to Kylie. She
Okay.
looks, I can imagine her being a hard work to live with and
Who, Kylie?
not
Right.
being washing up and that. And
Right, sure.
being a bit
Right.
fussy.
Okay. And what do you make of taxes rising in the next budget to pay for NHS improvements?
Well, my dad went to hospital to have an operation once,
Yeah.
so I feel like it's worth paying it because I've got something.
Because
out of it.
people might have to go to hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it makes a change when it's someone in your family, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you sort of realise.
Yeah.
how-
A change is as good as a rest.
And the weird thing is, if it weren't for my dad, I wouldn't be here doing this show because when he was in hospital.
Well, no, I'll stop you there.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's all you need to know.
You wouldn't be here, true, but no. But
no, because this was after I was born, so I would be here.
But
Well,
for his more direct involvement was what?
yeah, because when my mum was seeing my dad in
Yeah.
the hospital, I got a bit bored, went for a wander, found the hospital radio station,
Yeah.
and got a gig.
Really?
So in a real sense, if it wasn't for Carl's dad, Carl wouldn't be here.
And did your dad, like, while he was listening to you, did he, like, sort of tap the nurse and go, "Can you get that twat off the air?"
Who's put him in that app?
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Okay, what do you make of the real-life Mowgli who's surviving in a Transylvanian countryside? Apparently, I don't know much about this story.
I don't know.
You know Mowgli, he's
Is
the
that
guy
one
from
of
the
them?
Jungle Book.
Yeah.
The little
Oh.
kid that grew up with bears and animals and stuff. Apparently there's a real-life one in Transylvania.
What were the things in Gremlins?
What were the what? Like, in Gremlins they were...
Well,
they were gremlins.
wait. Okay, this is an example. This is what your girlfriend said. Think. What were the things in Gremlins called?
I can't remember.
Just, I mean,
It's
really.
something like that, isn't it?
No, wait. Just really think now, Carl. Just with everything with all the brain power you've ever used, think what the things in Gremlins were called.
It's not there.
There's a clue here.
Oh no,
Yeah.
they're not.
What?
Gremlins.
Yeah.
Play a record, Carl. Getting Carl's views on some of the big stories of the week
Yeah.
from the news. Carl, what do you make of the fact that the British Olympic curling team won a gold medal?
I watched it.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was really good. The only thing that's getting on my nerves now is like, what was that?
Is that a trombone player just sneaked in?
That was me moving this microphone.
Right. I'm sorry.
Incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What an amazing noise.
The only thing is,
That shouldn't sound like that, should it? That's incredible. What a shoddy tin pot station this is.
Well, we know that.
Sorry, Carl.
Go on.
is like in all the papers now, in like the Star and the Sun all week, they've been like traipsing models over a bit of granite. Do you know like how those things are made out of granite? The things they throw,
Oh yeah.
and it just that bit annoys me.
Okay.
The
What,
way
the
that,
Daily Star?
No, the way that this sport nobody had ever sort of heard of it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
We win a gold medal,
Yeah.
and now in the papers it's like
They've gone crazy. They've gone
gone
curling
mad
mad.
over it.
Yeah.
It's a good game now.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Next.
All right, good. Let me see. What about the fact that the world's tallest man is living in a semi in Neasden?
It's alright, isn't it? Something that someone told me in the week is that, do you know all these tall people like this guy?
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird, they've only just found him, considering he's the tallest man. I think that's a bit weird. Someone told me that, do you know the guy who was in James Bond, the big bloke?
Yes.
Jaws. He's got the same illness as this bloke.
Right.
And what it is...
It's called tall.
It's something about...
You're suffering from tall.
You've got a small tumour or something just behind this part of your head.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just sort of in the middle of your eyes.
Yeah.
And the pressure on that makes you grow really tall or something.
Yeah.
So he needs to get it sorted.
That's your advice to him.
Yeah.
Get it sorted. Okay, very finally, Karl, this is important. This is just projecting into the future. Just projecting into the future now, K-Man. Apparently, global warming will bring sizzling summers and weird wildlife to Great Britain in the future. Are you worried about
that? How soon?
Soon enough for you to worry.
Yeah, it's pretty worrying.
Okay. You wouldn't prefer it to be sunny here all the time?
No, because with hot weather comes weird spiders and that. See, I always think we're quite lucky here.
Yeah.
If you live in Australia, you might have the sun and stuff, but you've got like deadly snakes.
Yes. Yeah.
Which are deaf. Did you know snakes are deaf?
Snakes are deaf?
They don't have ears.
Okay.
So you're all right walking about behind them.
Yeah. But if they see you ahead of you, you're in trouble.
But yeah, with places like Australia, you know, people go, oh, it's great, it's sunny, but they don't talk about the spiders and
they keep the spiders,
lizards and stuff.
Quite.
So I think we've got a bit of both the best worlds.
So you're worried though about in the future, vultures flying through the sky? We've got various creepy crawly snakes. You concerned about that?
Yeah. Well, there's a load. I saw something in the news in the week that a load of sparrows or something was somewhere. Maybe that's the start of it.
That's an interesting story.
Was that front page or? There's a load of sparrows somewhere.
No, about.
Read all about it. Sparrows somewhere.
Some sparrows somewhere.
Sparrows somewhere.
Load of sparrows somewhere.
Sparrows somewhere.
There you go. Anyway.
Excellent. That's
Thank
great.
you very much, Karl.
That's Karl giving his views on the news.
Don't do that next week.
I think we should have a White Van Man session.
Oh, White Van Man.
I think people tune in for the White Van Man
yeah,
session.
people who haven't tuned in, they don't know.
If people aren't familiar with this, The Sun runs a column every day which is asking some punter from the street their views on the week's big events, and we just thought, why not hijack that idea, but apply it to Karl Pilkington. Karl?
I haven't seen much news again this week.
You've not seen much news? Don't worry, I'm sure you have an opinion on it anyway.
Just give us it from your heart.
So, Gladiator.
Okay, so, well, on the subject of Gladiator, what do you make of Russell Crowe's appalling behaviour at the BAFTAs?
This is, I heard a bit about this. This is when he got some director or something.
Director or producer and threatened them because they cut his bit, didn't they?
They cut a poem that he'd done during the acceptance speech.
I watched it on Sunday night. Sure. I didn't realise it wasn't live, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I quite liked the way it was to the point and didn't mess about. He went up, he said thanks.
So you're saying that he shouldn't have beaten up the director? Is that what you're basically saying?
It's a bit over the top.
You thought so?
I mean, if you didn't have time, if you really, I mean, what's the poem got to do with the film anyway? He was an awards.
So do you think it's ever justified to beat up a TV director if you're a major Hollywood star?
Depends what he's done, but I mean...
Right, what would he have to have done, Karl, for it to be fine for him to then beat him up?
The thing is, right, forget all the beating up. At the end of the day, it was a awards thing for a film. The poem had nothing to do with the film.
Yeah.
So go up, collect your award for that thing. And if he really, really wanted people to hear about this poem, he could have photocopied it and left it at the entrance and said, on your way out, this is a really nice poem, pick one up.
No, but the thing is... He knew it was televised, so he knew by saying that poem once, he was reaching 5 million people. That's a lot of photocopies. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying he was justified.
It wasn't a poem award. If it was an award show for poems, you'd say you can't cut it out. It'd be like doing the top 40 and then going, number one's good, but we haven't got time for it. But it's a films thing.
Okay.
And he went up and he got the award for the film. Which film was it for?
I don't know. But when I wanted to give you results... I said, let's give Karl his results. Steve went, no, we should introduce people to Karl again, just remind people what Karl's like. And he's so right. I'm so glad we did this first.
Am I right, though?
Carry on, Steve.
Okay, the next topic. What about this big debate over whether Kylie Minogue's had a bum job?
I'd have to see it.
Next.
Okay. What do you make of Will Young's single? He's the Pop Idol winner. It's going to net record-breaking sales, apparently. It's going to go straight to #1. He's had millions of copies sold.
I heard last week that you had to, if you wanted to buy it from Woolworths, you had to go in and put £1 down to guarantee getting a copy.
Wow.
I think that's stupid.
But what do you make of it, though? Do you think...
as a song?
Both as a song, and are you excited about Will Young and his future?
No, he'll do all right. I don't think we have to worry about him.
Okay.
He'll do all right. It's not my thing, but he seems like a nice bloke.
Okay,
good.
jolly good. What do you make?
One?
Yeah, one final one then. What do you make of our scientists getting the go-ahead to clone embryos for research? We have discussed cloning before, and obviously there's the pros and cons of that. Christopher Reeve, former Superman star, he's behind this. Are you behind him?
Yeah. I mean, with everything, you have your good and your bad, don't you?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you didn't have bad things in the world, then you wouldn't enjoy the good things. I think, it's like if you didn't have robbers in the world, policemen wouldn't have a job. So it's the same thing. It's like, it's an illness. Yeah. What are they messing with?
It's probably a bit too detailed to go into there, really, but...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good and bad. You can't have it all.
Yin and yang is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Carl, I can't argue with that, mate. Let's have a little quick session of White Van Man. For those that don't listen to the show regularly, The Sun, as you may know, has a section called White Van Man where a member of the public gets asked their opinions on the week's big political and social hot potatoes. Carl, we just thought it would be fun if you answered some of the questions. It's not so much questions, it's just your views, really, on these big news stories. What do you make of Olympic ski hero Alan Baxter testing positive for drugs?
What did he do?
Well, he won a gold medal in the Olympics, and
what?
He was a skier.
Right.
And he won gold medal, and they've just tested him positive for some kind of illegal drug.
But if he did, why take drugs to ski?
Why?
Because all you do is balance.
But imagine, it'd be amazing if you were stoned, like going down a hill.
Yeah, it's not like you have
But
to...
it's not going to help you, is
No,
it?
it's just gravity that's doing all the work, isn't it, with skiing?
Yeah, but it's often to do with your athleticism, isn't it? It's
No,
to
but it'd be
help you.
like saying, and we've just found out the people on the toboggan were on crack. It's not going to help them. You sit there and you go with the flow.
Yeah,
and
could
you hold
I
on.
say, the drugs he was
Apparently
taking...
that's his defence,
he probably wasn't jacking up H or, dropping a few E's or getting stoned. He was probably taking more sort of performance-enhancing drugs, as opposed to him just, scoring some shit around the corner from someone, getting off his tits and jumping in a toboggan. Doesn't mean that, does it?
He wasn't off his nut.
Yeah. You've tested you. You pissed out your head.
But why doesn't he just say, "Don't be stupid. Why would I do that? It's just not going to help me out."
But it is, isn't it? Because performance-enhancing drugs do.
Wait a minute, Steve. Wait a minute, Carl. Right, look at this way. Okay, look at me. Yeah, have I got his attention?
Yeah, the lights glinting off your ring there.
Yeah.
You're attracted to him.
Okay, right. No, keep concentrating. Right. Some athletes, you're aware they take drugs. That's to build up
Swimmers
muscle.
and stuff.
Yeah, swimmers. For
Runners.
example, runners, yeah. Not only do they help build muscle, right, but they can actually, give them a boost performance-wise,
Yeah.
sort of like steroids and all this sort of stuff. Right? So that's the sort of thing we're talking about, okay?
Right. So again,
He wasn't
why
on a bong
would that help
before.
you?
What?
Why would that help you when all you've got to do is balance on skis?
Not when you're at the Olympic level.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do with your body and your
No,
legs.
it's practice, isn't it? It's like if you've skied for years, then you've got good balance after a bit.
Oh, do you know what, Carl? Do you know what? You've made a mockery of drug taking. Well done. Right,
Yeah.
next one, Steve.
I hate this bit. I hate this.
I don't know if you saw it. What did you make of Posh Spice's Warts and All documentary?
Yeah, I saw a bit of it.
What did you make of it?
I mean, people are slagging him off, aren't they? Saying, she's daft and that, but
Don't make you.
she's. I think they're all right, honestly.
Yeah, I think they're all right.
She's all right. I mean, I think David's really a decent bloke.
Sure.
Would
Do you agree that he's quite a simple man?
Yeah, but he's a footballer. He doesn't need to be. Do you know what I mean? It's like me.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I only got an E in history. But knowing about the Tudors doesn't help me press these buttons and put the next CD on.
No, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, good luck to him, and he's done well out of it. And it's just
Yeah.
jealousy.
Yeah.
I remember, though, when I was back in Manchester, I was in Piccadilly train station, and he was there, right? Not as big a star as he is now,
Yeah.
back then, but he was stood there, and I was so close to going over to him and saying, "Did you go to my school?" Because I recognised his face, but I didn't know who he was. Do you know when you sort of go, "Sure, I went to school. It's not the one with the big head."
Yeah.
But I do recognise him. Then my girlfriend got off the train, and I said, "I'm sure I know him." She said, "Yeah, it's David Beckham." And I was so
thank
close
God
to
for your
going over.
girlfriend. Does she get an awful lot of scrapes, does she?
She does, yeah.
Okay, what about the fact that the pension crisis is going to force Britons to work into their 70s, Karl? You might have to carry on working into your 70s before you can claim a pension.
I think it's a good thing. Because you see a lot of old people who look bored.
Okay.
And I honestly think if you keep your brain busy, you'll live longer.
Yeah.
It's only when you actually shut down, right, that's when your body sort of dies because it doesn't feel it has a purpose. Yeah. It's like if you've got flu, keep going to work. If you have a day off, you just feel worse. You'll mope about at home. It doesn't do you any good.
What about where do you draw the line there? Though? What if you say lose a finger, pop into work?
Depends. If you can't concentrate because it's painful.
But what if you're a typist?
You're not going to type as many words, but you'll do more at work than you would having a day off at home.
Sure. Okay. Tony Blair turning trendy with his Paul Smith designed naked lady shirt. I don't know if you've seen this. It's the one with the pictures of naked ladies on the cuffs.
And, I mean...
Okay. And finally...
see, this is what annoys me about this feature. It's just, what's that? So what?
Yeah, but it's the Prime Minister of this country wearing a trendy shirt with naked ladies on the cuffs.
All right.
Okay. And finally, what do you make of the fact that Top of the Pops have banned Will Young singing both tracks on the #1 slot, and consequently he wasn't on there at all? They had to show the video. The first time anyone's ever made this demand. He wants to sing both the A and B side.
Well, he can't.
It's double A, yeah.
Double A side.
That's what he wanted to.
That isn't how it works, is it?
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
And the thing is, which one... I mean, at the end of the day, loads of people have bought it, haven't they? And it's like one of the best... So it doesn't really matter what it does, because people have got it, they can listen to what song they want at home. Doesn't matter about what Top of the Pops do.
Yes.
And it's just annoyed me now. It's...
Who's annoyed you?
Just what goes on in the world. I'll tell you, you're better off not knowing. It's better being in my little world. If that's what people are talking about on the streets and asking the white van man, do you know what I mean?
I think you're right, Karl. I think you're right.
For those that don't know and aren't familiar with this feature, basically the Sun runs a white van man column where it asks just people who, every men and women, their views on news stories from the week, and we decided we'd just ask Karl his opinion on some of the same issues. This week...
Not like us to rip off another idea and just use it for our own... No, but this time...
The white van man in the Sun this week is Herbie Crossman from Harrow in Middlesex.
Herbie.
And he's asked his opinion, Karl, and what's yours, on pop idol Will Young admitting he is gay. Come on, Karl.
I don't understand what the big deal is, to be honest.
Okay. No.
Talking to different people about it, and they've said, it could affect the sales, girls won't like him anymore, which I think is rubbish.
Yeah, because it finished George Michael's career, didn't it?
Well, yeah, and I was thinking when I was growing up, right?
And Freddie Mercury.
I was into Kim Wilde, right?
Sure.
Now...
And her kids.
You're not going to tell me she's gay, are you?
No, but if she was, if they said, she's a leather,
yeah,
right? I wouldn't say, right, that's it, I'm taking kids in America back to the shop, I'm disgusted.
Sure.
I liked her.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to, meet her and marry her and that, so what does it matter?
Yeah.
Will Young, he's a good voice, he's gay, a lot of gay people in the world.
Georgie boy was gay, I guess.
There you go.
Nothing more and nothing less. The kindest guy I ever knew.
So
Do your Bowie.
No big deal.
That's one of your favourite songs, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Kidding of Georgie Parts 1 and 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you make of the police protesting to Parliament over reforms?
That's not the band, before you say.
Right, what's all that about?
Okay, well, the police have had various kind of gripes and grumbles which they've taken to Parliament, try and get them sorted.
Like what?
Well, it could take ages, basically.
They don't like the pointy helmets anymore.
Yeah.
They want flat caps.
They feel that their powers are restricted. They get a lot of bad press. They're not being paid well. They're under-resourced.
They actually demonstrated, didn't they, outside?
I think they may have done, yeah.
Well, at least they're doing something about it instead of just sitting there moaning. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They're going to the top, trying to sort it out.
Yeah.
I admire that.
Yeah.
What do you make of the police generally? Are they doing a good job?
They've woke me up a couple of times at about 4 a.m. when I was a kid.
Right, was that because they were looking for your brother in his tank?
Yeah! Did a Sherman tank just come through here?
Yeah.
No, my mates nicked cars and gave my name and all that.
Right. Were they friends of yours?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, what do you make of fears that dumped Britney Spears? She's been dumped by her boyfriend. There's worries that she may be cracking up, Karl. You concerned?
What are the signs?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I'm just reading from this section, but I would assume that she's obviously showed signs of depression, maybe?
She'll be alright. I remember, like, you know, Zoe Harris, when she sort of got bored of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Get over it, I don't even think about her now.
What, and how long did it take you to get over Zoe?
Zoe Harris.
How long did it take
To be honest, right, it was like one of my first girlfriends, and she was a pain. I remember I went out with her because she wouldn't stop hassling me, right?
Yeah.
I remember
A good reason to fall in love with her.
Oh, go on
I
then.
never talked to her, and then the bit that really got me, I thought I half liked her, and then I remember, right, we were at a school party, sort of infant school.
Infant school?
Right.
Are you sure it wasn't junior school?
Well, it's on the cusp.
Yeah.
Like, when you're about to leave infants and go to the next one.
Yeah.
And she was crying because
You were saying, I don't think we should move in together.
She was crying.
She was crying.
Oh, was she?
Had you
She
stolen
must
her
have-
milk?
She must have been nearly 6. Why didn't she grow up?
No, she was crying because somebody had stood on her dress and put a bit of an hole in it. And I said, oh, for God's sake.
I can't stand it. Oh,
So
God.
you,
I just think him.
so you gave her a slap.
I just think of him, he's like 6, like with clogs and a flat cap, going slightly bald, going, for Christ's sake, woman, come on. Oh,
Light my pipe.
That finished it because all her mates were saying, come on, Karl, she's upset. And I was like, oh, whatever. So I saw her again.
hold on, no. Wait a minute. What do you mean all the mates were saying, like, come on, Karl? They were 6, weren't they?
Yeah, but they were saying, come on, she's crying. Help her out.
And,
Like,
and you
she's-
did nothing?
I don't know.
She got injured. Got a hole in her skirt.
Yeah, but she was upset and you were her boyfriend.
Well,
So what did you do? Tell me the story. Where were you?
didn't work out.
You were at some kind of school do. There was a hole in
That's
her
why
dress.
it didn't work out, he said.
Do you treat your current girlfriend in the same way? This callous disregard for someone's
His
feelings?
current girlfriend does not tread on her dress. Does she? Oh, she didn't.
So,
tread,
as far
did
as
she?
you're concerned, what was her name? Sarah?
Zoe.
Zoe Harris. You just felt like, well, you know, if she's going to make a whinge about, you know, a silly little hole, screw her.
Yeah.
You're all heart, Karl.
What would you have done?
I'd have gone over there and given her a lovely kiss.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I
We
would.
were playing Dead Arm. In the corner.
Ask him another question.
Okay, very final
Oh.
thought then. What do you say to the fact that a judge has decided that we, the general public, have a right to know about stars' flings? Basically, this is an excuse. This is basically saying, should papers be allowed to print tittle-tattle about celebrities?
Oh, this is.
Providing it's proven true.
Oh, this is something about, isn't it, a Division 1 football or something? It's definitely out of Premiership football, it's unfair. And it is true, but he's trying to keep privacy. And the judge said, well, it's not for us to censor the press over things that are true.
Right.
It's up to the general public to either boycott or not, you know, that publication.
What do you think, Karl? What about all this, you know, exposing, going through the, you know, the bins of celebrities?
It's not right, is it? But
No.
people are interested in it and buy the papers to read it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like I said to you the other week, everyone has a go at Beckham for not being that bright. But at the end of the day, he's a good footballer. Doesn't really matter what goes on off the pitch, does it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
But what if you were
I
a
don't
celebrity
really-
and they sort of splashed over the front page the fact that you just, you know, didn't care
Left
less
my
for Zoe
girlfriend
Harris
because-
Yeah.
and her torn dress?
Zoe Harris is still upset.
Yeah, they dug her out, you know. The night Karl Pilkington reduced me to tears.
Nah, I haven't done anything that bad.
Sure.
I wouldn't be worried.
Did you win the dead arm contest?
No. I was thinking about that the other day. Do you think there's a chance I could get blood clots in later life?
Did you play that a lot?
Yeah, a hell of a lot.
Did you ever do it, but like kind of headbutting?
No.
Okay, because that would have explained something.
Dead arms.
Sure.
Any more?
No, that's it, Karl.
And
Thank you very
it
much
was
indeed.
with people's blessing, was it? You had to give them a go.
Yeah.
And you played it with girls.
No.
Alright.
Oh, with my mates.
Right.
So you were
Okay.
playing dead arms while she was off dancing and getting her hole ruined.
Yeah.
You romantic, you.
That's great. And you haven't changed a bit, have you? You still do that to this day, don't you? At functions and events. Oh dear. Steve's got the Sun.
Yes, I'm
We're just going to be doing White Van Karl, where we ask Karl the questions the Sun asked some other bloke.
That's right.
Because we think Karl's got more to say than anyone on anything. Karl only tells the truth, by the way. Just remember that, listeners. Off you go.
Yes, well, today's White Van Man in the Sun is John Slade. He owns his own door maintenance company. His answers are very informative, I have to say. But, Karl, what do you make of the Channel 4 producer, aged 30, who duped a school into believing he was a teenager? for a documentary. Are you familiar with this story?
No, go on.
Well, basically, a 30-year-old guy kind of fooled the school into thinking he was a pupil for a secret documentary. The school's outraged. Do you think that that's for you? Should anything go when it comes to making TV?
I think I've said to you before. There's loads of kids at my school. I remember being in the first year, and kids who what year do schools go up to? I was in the first year. What is it?
11.
5.
Oh, sorry. First year of infants and juniors.
No, secondary school.
11.
Right. Year 11. Kids have beards and
no,
stuff.
not year 11. They're 11 when they first go to secondary school.
Right. Well, I'm 11. The kids at the older end.
Well, there's a
well,
fifth form, and then there's
you can leave when you can leave when you're 16, I think, can't you now?
Right. Well, kids who were 16 looked old. They did have beards. I remember going there and thinking some of them were teachers.
I think he's answered that. Next one. What's the next one?
Tattoos and everything. I think they're kids in the earlier years even.
What do you make of the fact that Mariah Carey's £38 million payoff has cost EMI staff their jobs, and we're talking 1,800 EMI staff who have lost their jobs?
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean,
is that silly money, Mariah Carey, on 38 million?
She doesn't need that much.
She doesn't need that much. She has to dress nice, though.
It's not her fault. I'd say it's bad business.
Okay.
Because EMI, did you say?
Yes.
Right. They've got rid of them staff.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey's left. Who's going to do the work?
do you think Mariah should come back and do some temping?
Well, they should have got a loan and paid her.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Vicious circle, that.
Right.
You haven't done a business degree or anything, have you?
Commerce.
You did commerce.
Yeah.
Where did you do that? What did you do with that?
At school, I'd learned how to fill out a cheque, pay a bill, and I think I had a trip round Kellogg's.
Did you get an O level or a GCSE?
We know he didn't.
You know.
But was there a commerce exam, or was it just a division of maths?
Remember.
What did he fill out a cheque?
Was it a subset of
It
maths?
was an option. It was like, if you want to do it, you can.
What was it? Fill out a cheque.
Pay a bill.
Pay a bill.
Have a visit round Kellogg's.
Kellogg's, and I saw my sister's boyfriend there at the time. He sorted me out with some variety packs.
Really? What was in them?
You know, Rice Krispies and
Good stuff.
Cocoa Pops?
Space Dust or whatever it is.
Space Nuts.
So, sorry, that wasn't Ken Dodd, though. No. That was someone else, wasn't it? That was an aunt.
Yeah. That wasn't Special K. Oh, dear.
What about this then? Home Secretary David Blunkett admits that muggers rule some streets.
Weird this, because when I was out with you...
I can't believe it's going to be weird, whatever you say, Karl. Go on.
When we were in that pub that night and we got talking about muggers and that, the tip is, what I tend to do, because I nearly got mugged once...
You what? You nearly got mugged once?
I nearly got mugged.
Yeah.
But I tried this technique of acting a bit mental.
Right, and how did you act mental?
Well, this guy wanted me trainers. And I was in Piccadilly Gardens in Manchester. It was quite late one night. And he come up, he said, I want them trainers. I said, you want them? I said, I worked hard for these. I said, how dare you come to me asking? And I got a bit livid. And he looked at me like, oh my God, he's got a right one here. And he left me.
Were you acting mental, or were you just mental?
No, I put it on a bit.
Were you not petrified, though?
Well, you don't think about it, do you, when you're sort of in the eyes of danger?
Well, not you. Clearly, you're a brave man. So, what did you say?
I just went a bit mad. I just kind of, because he said he wanted the trainers, and they were dear ones at the time. And I just, no, you're not having these. I said, I've crafted you. I said, I wanted these trainers.
Yeah.
And, went on to tell him how I work at printers and I don't enjoy it, and, I put in all these hours and that, and I have to cycle home for about 5 miles. And
did he give you his trainers?
Yeah.
Did he have a knife or
I
anything?
just left. No, it didn't get that. Didn't get that violent.
Well, that's very brave of you, Karl.
Yeah, it's
That's good advice, though. Just act mental.
See, what's actually tried it the other night.
Oh, Liza Minnelli?
Yeah.
Well, she says, I've worked hard for these diamonds. Yeah. It's not easy being the daughter of Judy Garland. You don't know what it's like.
Finally, apparently there was a crook that got a security job at Heathrow. Right, he was a crook and he got a job at Heathrow. As robbers steal another £2 million. Apparently security down there is lax.
Yeah.
Is that a concern for you?
Is this another?
Yeah.
2 million.
Yeah.
Why is all this money at the airport?
It's those sandwich shops. You know how they're really expensive, the sandwiches in, like, when you're on a plane? They're like £2.50 for tuna, which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
That's basically the reason.
What do you mean, why is all this money at airports?
What is it doing there? Why?
Have a go. No, have a go answering this yourself. Why is anything at an airport?
It's going somewhere.
Or coming in from somewhere?
Yeah, but money, you can sort it out through the bank, like phone banks and that.
Have you done commerce? You know a lot about paying bills and writing out cheques. Yeah.
Tell us about Kellogg's.
What was it like? What was in the factory? Was it just like squashing bits of corn?
Pretty boring, really. Just loads of conveyor belts, boxes of cornflakes everywhere. Just what you imagine.
Yeah.
So was it more? This is where you might be working. This is where you're likely to work.
Possibly. There was 2 trips. There was that and a trip to Manchester Evening News.
Okay.
And I left that early because I had a job in Cordon Bleu.
In Kellogg's.
Cordon Bleu. What's that?
It's like a supermarket.
Yeah.
And I had to leave the trip early, and the teacher went mad saying they thought I'd got lost on the, in the building and stuff.
What, you didn't tell anyone?
No, because it was like day 2 of working in this supermarket, and I couldn't be late. I thought by the time I explain where I've got to go and everything, I'll be even later.
Sure.
So I just left, and then apparently they were searching the building and everything for me.
How old were you?
Stuck in a printer. Don't know.
Stuck in a printer?
I don't know.
What was the printer's name?
You worked at a supermarket called Cordon Bleu.
Yeah. Cordon Bleu!
Brilliant.
That's great, isn't it?
It's rubbish.
Oh.
Got sacked.
What did you get sacked for?
Messing about in a back in the car park round the back.
Yeah.
Right, there was a grid, and all the concrete had gone funny. So when it rained, you got like a big lake.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I got in. Do you know those big metal trolleys you get to like put all the food in while?
Oh yeah.
And I got in one of them, and pushed myself out into this lake.
Of cement.
No,
of
it was
water.
full of water because it'd been raining.
Right.
And I got stuck in the middle, right? And the boss was like, "Where's Karl? He's meant to be doing, facing up the beans." And I was like,
and you were stranded in a lake.
So someone said, "Oh, I saw him messing about out the back." He came out and saw me stuck in the middle of this lake in a trolley, and he said, "Get back in." I said,
"Would you say no? I'm filming sharks."
I said, "It's too deep. I can't get out. You'll have to pass me something." And he said, "I'm not passing you nothing." He said, "You can get out of there and walk through it." I said, "I'm not. I've got my trainers on, probably the same ones."
Yeah, you've risked your life for them.
Yeah. I said, "I'm not getting these wet." He said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to wait for the water to go down the grid." He said, "The grid's blocked. Now get out or you're sacked." I said, "Well, I'm not getting out." He said, "Right, you're sacked."
So you were sacked? How long did you have to wait for the water to go down the grid?
In the end, I did get bored, and I sort of did a bit of a leap and a jump and got 1 foot wet.
How long were you waiting?
Maybe about half an hour.
Just think of it. Just think. I mean, how did he get himself into that situation? Right, well, it's time for White Van Man, which is where we ask Karl the questions that the Sun asks someone else.
Exactly.
It's an article in there where they ask them, typical man on the street, the big questions of the day, gives them their platform to the nation, and we think this is just too good to let out because we only care about one person's opinion in the country now.
That's true enough. It's the K-Man, and there he is.
There he is. Right.
Karl, your thoughts, please, on Kylie Minogue slagging off Britney Spears for ignoring her fans at her premiere. Are you aware of that story?
No.
She got booed at her premiere of her new film, Britney, because she'd left her fans waiting for like an hour. Some of them had travelled up from Bristol, other parts of the country.
3,000 of them.
Loads of them screaming for her. She just went straight into the theatre an hour late, just gave them a quick wave and straight in. Didn't even bother to shake their hands, sign any autographs. So they were booing.
What do you think of that, Karl?
And Kylie's obviously said that was actually outrageous, and you should treat your fans with respect. What do you make of it?
So she did wave, then?
Yeah, but literally as she was walking into the theatre.
Was it raining?
No, I don't think it was.
He's like a defence lawyer who hasn't really read the brief.
Exactly.
So
he's just winging it.
Judge's first joke, was it raining? No? Oh, shit, I was relying on that. It wasn't raining.
Was she running late for the start of the film?
Yes, but that's her own fault. I mean, the people are inside. They're not going to start the film without her. It's Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She could take some time out. When Tom Cruise came here, he spent like an hour and a half shaking people's hands, talking to people on their mobile phones, all sorts. That's Tom Cruise. He's a bigger name than Britney.
I know, but
he's a smaller person, but he's a bigger name.
What do people want from people? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
an autograph, things like that, a photo.
This one's going nowhere, Steve. Is there another one?
Fair enough.
It's not bad. If she had more time, she might have done it. I bet she would have done it on another day. I mean, I'm not feeling too good today.
But you're going to still take time out to sign people's autographs, surely, when you leave the building.
Yeah, there's always a bit of a crowd, isn't there?
Next.
Go on.
What do you make of New York's ex-police chief saying we need more bobbies on the beat? He's come over here. He's the guy that sorted out crime in New York City. He's come over. He said you're going all over the place here. You need more bobbies on the beat, more policemen, more a visible police presence.
There was something last week about some copper in London who was sat on a bench, and he was asleep or something.
Yeah.
And people were like outraged because like he should be looking after England's people, not nodding off on a park bench, which is a bit daft because
they were shouting he should be looking after England's people.
Was
this the 16th century you went back to? What do you mean he should be looking after England's people?
Wherever he was, if he was in like a park somewhere, they were like really annoyed because he was asleep. But
sure. He was probably undercover.
No, but the thing is, if there would have been any trouble, I'm sure he would have woke up.
Yeah.
If there was any if someone needed help and he screamed, he would have woke up. So I don't know why they were having a go at him.
Yeah. And he might not have been there at all. So it was he probably have his radio turned on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Listening to Heart.
So you're not concerned then that there's not the crime's going up?
I think there's enough. I see quite a lot of them whizzing around.
Okay. You're happy then?
Yeah.
As long as you're happy, Karl.
So you don't think it's too much crime?
No.
Just the right amount of crime.
Yeah.
What about the fact that new gambling laws give Blackpool the green light to become a British Las Vegas? What do you make of that? Are you a gambler?
Little bit when I go on holiday, like going in the arcade and having a little flutter.
Sure.
What's your favourite?
I have a go on the fruit machines.
Yeah.
There's a good one called The Simpsons.
Right.
Is that your favourite?
Yeah, it's quite good.
Is that a tie-in with the TV show The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will they make Blackpool the next Vegas? I don't think so.
No, nor
Can't
do
see
I.
it happening.
No. You been to Blackpool?
Yeah.
What was it?
It's a bit rank.
Is it?
It is a bit rough.
Okay.
Needs a lot of work doing on it.
Yeah.
No, that won't happen.
Okay.
And you're not worried about this encouraging gambling, generally? Gambling's not a vice you're concerned about?
If you're a gambler, you're a gambler. Do you know what I mean? If Blackpool isn't done up, they'll go somewhere else to have a flutter.
Sure.
So it's not going to make any difference.
Okay.
No.
Okay, jolly good. What do you make of the So Solid crew's Ashley Walters being jailed for 18 months? Obviously not a very good example to his young fans.
He should have got more.
Do you think?
I had a dream about him the other night.
Go on.
About the group itself.
Okay.
I had a dream that...
Were they all there? Because there's a lot of them. I couldn't remember all their faces to feature in a dream.
I had a T-shirt on.
He had etc.
Exactly,
He had
yeah.
two of them, then he had etc. Yeah.
I had a T-shirt on.
You had a T-shirt on?
Yeah, and it said on my T-shirt, So Solid Poo. And I was walking down the street and they came towards me. And they were
Wow.
just about to beat me
That's
up.
a great dream.
That's amazing.
That's an amazing
I love
dream.
that.
We've all 30-year-old.
We've all had that anxiety dream. Oh my goodness! What if I
no.
meet the So Solid crew and I'm wearing a T-shirt that slags them off?
Oh, I don't believe it. Yeah, yeah.
So what happened? Did you get beaten up in the
It was
dream?
one of them where I woke up. Do you know I've been telling you that I keep getting them things where you feel like you're falling?
Oh, yeah.
It was the same sort of thing. It's
You
like,
know I'm not a real psychiatrist, don't you? You should, you know
No,
what I
but
mean?
you do know a lot about a lot.
Yeah, I do. Thanks very much.
And, if I'm at home talking to Suzanne about something and I don't know the answer, I think, right, I'll ask Ricky that one and see him.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But you know that I think you might have mentioned before that apparently if you die in a dream, it means that you're dying in real life.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you don't...
But apparently, if you get beaten up by the So Solid crew in a dream, it means you're being beaten up by them in real life.
Yeah, that is true.
So you probably woke
a
up
lot
with
of
kind
people
of
have been
crumbling your
joking. Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
So, yeah, lock him up for longer.
Okay. Finally, what do you make of Halle Berry becoming the first black woman to win the Best Actress Oscar? Did you see her speech?
Got on my nerves.
Did it?
I mean, it's good that she won. It's nice for anyone to win an award.
Yeah.
But she did go on a bit. And, I've been in that same sort of position.
What? Claiming an Oscar?
Well, I got, what they used to do at school is,
Okay.
if you did a full month without being off, you got a gold certificate.
Okay.
And I did a month once without having a day off. And
Sure.
I went up, and I didn't make a fuss.
You didn't start crying.
Can't play a record, mate.
Well done, though. Were you the first kid in your school to do that?
I don't think anyone else got the certificate. It was only because I was never in. They tried to encourage me to come in.
It was just for you. They mounted an entire ceremony just to encourage you.
With me, Karl, Cayman Pilkington, we're into this, way into the second month of the education of Karl. As you know, Karl got 1 GCSE in history and E, and we've been cramming, haven't we?
Oh, Rick, before you mention that, can
go
I
on.
just say something? Obviously, we always do this thing with the Sun, White Van Man, where we read this thing out from the Sun and query Karl. And I was out with some friends last night, and my friend Dan always listens to the show, and he said, Karl, I love the bit when you answer the questions in the Sun. Why do you ever know what the questions are before they're asked, or is that your first answer? And Karl said, no, that is it. They don't let me see what the questions are first. They don't show them to me, and I always get really anxious and get really paranoid. And I was just wondering, have you seen the error there, Karl? Have you seen the mistake you've been making? Right? You're worried that you didn't get the questions beforehand, right?
What? How could you
maybe combat that? Do you think?
How could you combat that if you're really nervous? Coming
maybe you wanted to sort of have some views or ideas beforehand.
It's your error, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's your show. If you want to like take a chance with me.
No.
So
His point is this: that if you're really worried about it, how could you get hold of those questions in advance? Is there any way you could get hold of those questions in advance?
Yeah, but is it always in today's? Is it always in Saturdays?
Yes.
So they don't do that every day of the week?
They do, but I always take it from this Saturdays.
Right, well, yeah, I could, but that would cost me money. I'm not on enough as it is, working here on a Saturday.
Okay.
How much is the Sun?
30p.
Yeah, well...
You're not made of money.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 40p on a Saturday. I don't know what I was thinking.
That time, isn't it?
Yeah. Play the jingle.
Yeah. White Van Man, Karl.
Brilliant. Recorded at great expense, that jingle.
Yeah.
This is where we just hijack an idea from The Sun, which is White Van Man, where The Sun asks, in this instance, a cabbie by the look of it. Oh no, a fruit and veg shop owner.
Ours is slightly different because The Sun sort of like pick on a perfectly normal member of the public.
Exactly.
So that's where we've got the
upper hand.
Yeah.
And they ask him about the the hot potatoes. This week, Karl, my first question to you. Well, your thoughts, please, on the criticism of the BBC over their coverage of the Queen Mum's death. What do you make of this? You're aware of all the criticism that Peter Sissons asked some probing questions?
No, I thought it
wore a burgundy tie.
I thought that's it. Yeah, he just had it didn't show respect. He just had a burgundy tie on.
See that's not really not showing respect, is it?
No, it's not.
You know, you show your respect by sort of doing the news on it, giving her a bit of coverage, and showing, you know, what
publicity.
What a good woman she was or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you move on to sport news or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally agree.
I don't like the way everything's morbid. I was thinking about it. It's like, you know, the way in birthday cards and that, people always put funny things in them. I think you should save things like that for funerals, for like funeral cards and that, and try and cheer people up at times when they're low. Do you know what I mean? Because on your birthday you're quite happy anyway, so you don't need someone putting a funny comment in a card. I think, you know, when you send a card...
What would you suggest?
Well, you know,
whoopee cushion, but on the vicar's chair. How would you liven up the funeral?
Just little things in the card. I mean, you're just writing stuff like, well, you know, at least you're still alive or whatever.
So as you're giving the eulogy,
that'd be good. So suppose someone's husband's killed in a car crash, you go around with some flowers and a little card, and it says, "At least you're still alive."
Well, maybe something funnier than that.
Well, maybe, like, if you got up to give the eulogy during a funeral, just wear a pair of comedy tits.
Yeah, or those glasses that are eyes on sort of springs.
But why has everyone got to be so sad about someone dying?
No, what annoys me is that when you see the people on television, these sort of members of the public, and they're crying about the Queen Mother, who was sad when anyone dies, sad when anyone nan dies. She was 102, and I mean, it's sort of like, I think they should cry.
Well, there's a picture in the paper today.
I don't understand it.
There's a picture in the paper today of various people who were lining the the funeral kind of route yesterday, and there's a picture of a very young child, maybe sort of 5 or 6, on the arms of her dad, and her head bowed, and it says a young girl there weeps for the Queen Mother. And I was looking at it, and you can tell she's just tired. Well, she's just tired and bored. It's so transparent that it's not crying. It's
most
just, what are we doing
when their nan dies?
Exactly.
You know, it's sort of like...
But what is a 5-year-old girl gonna be? Why is she gonna be crying? The Queen Mum said, "Oh, I can't believe it."
Yeah.
Teletubbies? No. The Queen Mum. Oh, not the Tweenies. No, it's all in a minute.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Oh, dear.
I mean, I know, I'm sure, you know, I don't know much about her, I don't know if she was a great woman, and obviously, you know, it's always sad when someone dies, but it's like, it's interesting that there was a lot of tourists in that long line of people that are now queuing for hours upon hours to see her dying in state, because it's clearly just people who want to be a part of history.
Must be gutting if you're over from Sweden, and you find out that, you know, the Queen Mum's died.
Oh, I mean, you must be devastated.
You probably don't want to carry on with your visit.
Exactly.
Really.
Okay, listen, Karl,
I think we've covered that.
What do you make of the, what do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here.
Well, isn't it just choosing the, you know, eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that, you know, where will it lead? Where will it end, Karl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future if they're being, you know, genetically modified beautiful people? What will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird. But, I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, you know, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, you know, I was growing up on this estate.
This is gonna be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right? Who's a bit rough. All right.
Didn't fancy her.
Oh God, no. Right, but she had a
Why?
baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a very.
So like being a man in a
I
dress.
mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything, and I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What did she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Looked like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry.
Whoa,
Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
You've seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of
Right?
oh, that's great. Did Big Jake come looking for it?
I'd been out.
Oh. No, sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. Alright then. But keep it out the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well, I'll be—
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think—
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
that's why the family didn't have any money, they'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway—
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah, and
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh,
so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And, and you know, sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport. Yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge.
Reading a paper.
Just like walking around.
Oh God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this, because the story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's play a track,
deeper
Carl.
and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I come from the West Country, I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really—
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah. Track. So we were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and we got onto
genetically modified babies, but
and
somehow
then Karl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto, he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was—
because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know where that's relevant.
You don't need to go that far.
But
what I'm trying to do is like make a picture for you so you understand.
What a picture it is. Who did she look like?
Bit of a— and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I never got that close to her.
Okay, alright.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her husband?
No, her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse?
Yeah, from— I don't know where. There was I think there was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with them?
They kept it in the house.
Did they
didn't have it for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse in there?
No, what happened was, I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
But well, I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's just a good money making idea. So you're a charity.
So, so I asked me mum for some, cause she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And, I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And, got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray. Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
So did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil?
Yeah, they want to survive.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So as I went
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
central heating,
3-piece suite, and a telly and that?
Telly and that.
No, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari,
right? I was walking through London.
Commodore 64, rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, that dog is happier than most dogs.
Right.
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open, it's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that...
No, it does eat though, they're always alright. So that's what I was saying, I think this horse was doing alright for itself. Do you know?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
by
we
the
were talking
by.
about. Yeah, so anyway, this family, who's a bit, what we were talking about, it was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff, yeah.
Right, now what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So...
Come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do, they inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And, get a little baby, and there it is, it looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate, you both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right? Now, you look at Stephen, you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well, you give it good food and
I'm a good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right? So, then it changes its looks, it goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily, and that sort of thing. Now, when this family...
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
Right, this family had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby. And my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby." Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And, the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying, like, abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till, like, 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover?
The weird
Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa.
Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh, God.
But am I right?
You're always right, Carl.
Finally, White Van Man, what do you make of the fact that Sainsbury's are bringing in square tins?
Is that
a concern for you?
Is that true?
Apparently so.
Why?
Dunno.
Like it's easy to stack.
This is what the guy in the Sun has said. That should be interesting for... That should be... His comment on Sainsbury's are bringing in square tins is that should be interesting for meatballs. Ricky's just collapsed on the floor. Let's just play a song, Carl. I don't think even you can top that.
White Van, Carl.
White Van, Carl, absolutely. Do you want to explain the premise?
Well, we take the Sun, ask someone else, and ask Carl. It's as simple as that.
That's
The Sun have just taken a normal person, we flipped it. We're gonna ask Carl the same questions about the week's news.
Yeah, just basically your opinions, Carl, as ever. What do you make of, well, obviously the big news, David Beckham's broken foot? Is this a big concern for you?
No, I mean, it's sad, you know, it's sadder for him more than anyone, because, you know, to like, be in the World Cup is, like, the main thing for him, innit?
Yeah.
But he's still a young lad, and I don't think he'll give up. I reckon he'll still turn up. He'll be all right, and yeah, good luck to the lad. You know I like David. I'm not going to slag him off.
Wise words.
He says that like he knows him, like he's popping round for drinks later.
Yeah, like we tried to stitch you up. Go on.
But obviously yesterday, was it yesterday? I think maybe Thursday. The Sun printed a big picture of David's foot and encouraged everyone to touch it at midday, because hoping that this would somehow, if we all thought and prayed together, somehow that would help his foot heal. Do you believe in that?
No.
Have you any belief in that?
No, you're going down the old like Yoragella route, aren't you?
Sure.
And it's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, it's nice effort and everything. It sort of cheers everyone up.
Hold on, you believe in ghosts and warlocks and licking toads? Why is that any more stupid than all those things?
It's not going to work, is it?
All right,
fine.
It's rubbish.
Okay.
Okay, what about this then? There's, apparently now available £1.5 million apartments available on an exclusive ship which sails around the world.
Yeah, it's like,
what do you make of that?
It's a huge thing, and you live on it, and it's, I mean, in theory...
How big is it?
It's mental.
Do you know
it's like a town centre.
Do you know how, like, people said that the Titanic was the biggest ship? Was that only then? They've got bigger ones now, haven't they?
Yeah.
A lot bigger.
Oil tankers are much bigger, and... Yeah.
No, but actual
liners are big. Yeah. It was the biggest then. Yeah.
Because my mum told me that there was one that was that big that it had like rough areas on it.
Oh God!
Don't go starboard.
Oh God!
No, but do you know what I mean?
Great.
It was like
we're thinking of moving. We're seeing the captain. We're thinking of moving to a nicer area. Oh yeah.
I've heard they're very rough in aft.
Oh God! Oh, that's
they steal your tyres.
A ship's so big there was rough areas. Oh.
How big is this one that you're talking about?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't give me the specifications here, but
they're huge. They're huge. In theory, I mean, it's that thing with it's obviously marketing, but they're gonna solve the overpopulation crisis, where soon we'll all just be floating around the sea.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I can see that, because I mean, think about it, right? I've been talking to Ricky about it. I was hoping to buy somewhere in London, but there is no way in this world that I can afford it, right? And you look at all the wasted space, like with the Thames. All it's doing is like collecting crisp packets and stuff and Coke cans, and people have to clean it up. Whereas if you got a load of boats on there, problem solved.
Yeah. Would you live on a boat?
Problem solved.
What's his name did it, didn't he? What's that programme? Is it Bergerac?
Noah. Oh, Bergerac?
There was one where he lived on a boat. I think it's quite...
that was Shoestring.
Yeah, I'd give it a go anyway.
Noah!
I'd like to see you, living in the air, maybe in a giant hot air balloon.
Yeah, alright. But, no, the boat thing, because it is gonna get bad as well, isn't it? They're saying that the water's melting or whatever.
The water's melting,
The ice is melting.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be more water and less land, so in the future, it's probably gonna be the way we're gonna be living, isn't it?
Have you seen that film Waterworld?
Nah, I don't fancy it.
Because that sort of predicts that, yeah.
What, are they saying that the ice thing will melt?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was thinking about this a couple of weeks ago. If you get, I mean, I think I read that, like, a big chunk of ice, fell off one of the ice, what do you call them?
Caps.
Ice caps. Something like, I think they said it's the size of the Empire State Building or something.
Right.
It snapped off and went into the water, and it's melted. And they say, oh, it's bad news, you know, that something that size is melting. But the way I look at it, if something that size falls into the water, it's like a big ice cube, and it's gonna freeze it up again. You with me?
Not really, Carl.
Go on.
Right, you get a giant ice cube, the size of the Empire State Building, stick it in the water, it's gonna make, it's gonna stick back on again, isn't it?
Well, no, only if it freezes up again.
Yeah, well, it will freeze up. The water's gonna get cold again, because you've just put a giant ice cube in the water.
So when you put an ice cube in a drink, the drink doesn't freeze, does it?
No,
the ice melts.
If you put one the size of an Empire State Building in your glass of Jack Daniels, it's gonna make it freezing.
It's not going in a glass of Jack Daniels, it's going in the ocean.
I know, but you see, I'm using my fables. Imagine a world...
Use your brain instead!
Imagine the world, imagine the sea, like the Arctic or whatever, as a glass of Jack Daniels.
Okay.
A big ice cube falls into it.
Yeah.
It freezes, it melts back on again. So we're alright, I don't know why everyone's worrying.
God,
thank God for that, I was getting panicked.
Oh, fine.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that will happen. Got another one there?
Well, it's just your thoughts really on the Queen Mum's very British send-off that she was given this week.
Yeah.
What do you make of all those people queuing up to see her? Did you think that was incredible?
Right. Well, what we said last week, you know, there was I don't quite understand why there was so many people there, who were, like, getting really upset. Do you know what I mean? Really upset, crying and stuff, and, you know, you can lose someone who's, like, related to you, and you don't cry like that. You sort of sit there and you think back to what you did with them and stuff, and then that's it. But, the queue thing, wasn't it, like, miles long and stuff?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Right, I was sat watching this with Susan.
12 hours queuing.
Yeah.
It never got to 12 hours.
It did, but that was the estimated time.
Now,
but how long is a queue when they're just, like, you know, walking along? Think how far you can sort of, like, you know, stagger in 12 hours.
Incredible.
It's been ridiculous.
Yeah. But, again, you know, if they want to do that, it's their time and that, innit? And it was at the weekend, so they could have... It's not as if they got out of work to do it.
No.
You know what I mean? They used their own time, so good on them. But I thought, right, what they could have done... Remember when I studied Che Guevara?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And don't be offended by this, it was just an idea, because they did it with Che Guevara. Remember when they cut him up?
Yes, they cut him up, yeah.
What was the reason for cutting him up?
Well, they cut up Che in order to try and, you told us that they were gonna send bits of his body to Fidel Castro and various other people, wasn't that right?
As a warning, wasn't it, though, to all the people, like, one to...
Yeah, my understanding was that they cut him up in order to, so they could bury him in different places, so that there'd be one shrine. There'd be, not one place that you could go to in order to sort of make him into a martyr.
A little bit like that. I've, like,
I can vaguely see where this is going.
6 queues, and it's like, number 1, you can, you know, go and pay respect to her head, or whatever.
Oh, God.
No, but I just was thinking the way of speeding it up. I'm not having a go, because they haven't done it, so it doesn't matter.
God.
But they did it with Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Everybody would have felt like they've got close to her, and it would have speeded it up.
No, I mean, but I can understand.
Can I just say that genuinely, Karl is not being disrespectful here. This is his best idea to cut down the queues. So don't phone in. He's not suggesting we should have done this. He genuinely is. Well, but I mean, he's not doing it to be nasty or wacky or you know. He thinks this is a good idea. So
can I just throw a thought at you?
Che Guevara, who was like a powerful man, he did a lot for the world and what have you.
Yeah.
And
are you aware that I feel slightly responsible for this, because have you heard of the quote, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, next one?
No, just a very quick question. I can understand those that have queued for 12 hours to see the head. I'd be a little bit annoyed if I got there to find a toe.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what they could do without chopping her up. They could put about 9 queues, each could see each hip she had.
That's true enough.
Because she's had about 9 of them, so it'd just be, if you want to see the whole body, it's a 12-hour queue. If you just want to see a couple of the hips...
Here's another suggestion for you, I've just thought, right?
What?
Instead of everyone queuing to see her, why not put her on a trolley and wheel her past everyone else?
Running.
So yeah, you could have some students on Rag Week that can combine it, like when they're always pushing a bed. You know, they could just run it along the queue.
No,
that'd be fantastic.
That'd be disrespectful.
Right, as opposed to the chopping up.
So
sure.
Right.
But just an idea.
Just I apologise now if anyone's offended.
Anyone offended, I'm sorry, but...
Yeah.
Okay, finally, this is more frothy. Liz Hurley lying low, apparently, at Elton John's house to try and avoid the press now that she's had a child.
That's a good place to go to avoid the press.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, Elton John's house.
Everyone seems to be friends with Elton John, don't they? Every celebrity's friends with...
Why did he pop into Elton John's house? What is he running some sort of...
Well, it was like when Robbie Williams was a drunkard and a drug addict, he went to Elton John's.
Yeah, and who's the other fella that went there as well? What's someone to, you know, to recuperate and, shoulder to cry on? Is he giving out false passports?
But I don't know if people have seen his history. He's not the man of, you know, I mean, I know he's cleaned himself up now, but, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe he's got this kind of insight into how to deal with celebrity.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's just genuine mates with him. I think he's just like a friendly bloke.
I think she's been doing too much lying low in the first place. That's part of the problem, isn't it?
High five, Karl.
That was a genuine joke from Karl there. And he's so proud of himself. Look at his little face.
Too much lying low.
Oh, that was White Van Karl.
I agree with you. Why can't she just go around to her mum and dad's or something rather than Elton John where everyone's looking? Yeah.
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 That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now
White Van Karl?
this is, yeah, this is where we...
Oh, it's too much.
You've seen his face and his eyebrows sort of went down while you were doing that face. He genuinely looked pained.
It's like you're back at school, isn't it?
He's starting to get hard work now.
No, okay, we just do White Van Karl then. This is your opinions. You can't be wrong on this, can you?
There's no right or wrong answer here. Okay.
Right.
But so this is where we ask Karl his views on the big news stories of the week. Basically, we've stolen an idea from the Sun newspaper, and
so this isn't cruel, this programme, is it?
Oh, I don't think so.
Picking on me.
It's not, is it?
It's weird because a few people have said, "Oh, you're picking on me." It depends how you look at things, isn't it?
Yeah, but you do you like it?
I mean, we could look at it like it's a laugh, so it's not a problem for us.
You know, we like you. You know, you're our favourite.
Yeah.
I'm going to say thing in the world, but I don't mean that, you know, in a derogatory way.
No, I'm cool with it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So your views, please, on the fact that attitudes are changing to the possible marriage of Charles and Camilla.
Oh, what do you think of that?
The roars at the moment, because the recent tragedies are apparently high in the polls, and people are coming around to the idea of Charles and Camilla getting hitched. What's your thought?
Whatever, really. I mean, if they're happy with it. The thing that comes out of it most is it just goes to show, right, that there is someone for everyone. Just because, I mean, no disrespect to Camilla, I'm not a good-looking person either, but she isn't a stunner, and yet she's gone and picked up a royal. Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's good for things like that to happen, because it cheers you up. Do you know what I mean? Gives you a bit of hope.
Thanks, Karl.
So yeah, it's good. You know, if they're happy, if anyone's happy, it's a good story, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, he's had a bit of bad luck, and now he's got someone else in his life. So.
While he's doing this, I'm just doing a list of questions to ask him what he thinks of things in the world.
Okay.
Is that alright?
Yeah, no problem. Okay, what do you make of... Well, now listen, this may be a non-story, or it may be the biggest story that's about to break. Ulrika Jonsson and Sven-Goran Eriksson's affair. Are you familiar with this? It's over the papers today. Apparently, Ulrika and Sven are going out, although there appears to be no evidence for this.
Yeah, I don't even give it time of day.
Do you not?
Quite right, well done.
Doesn't affect me whatsoever, as long as he does his job well.
Yep.
And what's she doing at the moment?
Presenting Dog Eat Dog, I think.
Right, you know.
As long as she does her job well.
As long as they both do their jobs well.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's going on with a lot of people out in the world, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Just because he's an England boss, as long as, you know, we win the games and that, he's doing his job. If she's, you know, gets a dog winning a prize or whatever.
No, okay, it's not worth it, carry on.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
It's a dog winning a prize.
I haven't seen Dog Eat Dog. What's it
Okay,
about?
it's alright,
Right,
no, go on.
so that's it, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, what about this then? Are you disappointed by the nation that a third of us are apparently unaware of St. George's Day?
23rd.
Is St. George's Day the one with the snakes that we've talked about?
No, that's...
Are you one of that third, do you think?
St. George is the patron saint of England who, killed the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, there's too many of these days, isn't there? That's the problem. If you make it a bit more special, like Christmas, so you buy presents and that for each other, then people will remember it. But there's so many of these days, with Easter and Pancake Tuesday and all that. So, it's not surprising. I think as time goes on, we'll find that a lot of these days will just disappear, because, you know, people are busy.
There'll be new ones, won't there?
I don't know, people
There'll
are
be
that
like
busy.
Gareth Gates Day in 50 years' time.
It's just weird. I mean, I remember being a kid, right? Going out on a Sunday and shops would be shut because it was like, you know, the day of rest and all that. People don't care now. It's like, well, we can make some more money, we'll open the shops.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Is that a good or a bad thing, Karl?
It's good, because I remember I used to have to get up early to go and get some bread if we didn't have any in. Because the shop would only be open for a couple of hours in the morning.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'd be able to...
Yeah, I remember that. Shop shut. And you couldn't get aspirin and stuff, certain things,
nightmare on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So...
That's right, yeah. And pubs didn't open till 12.
Do you remember space operas?
Yeah. Yeah, shut up. Can I ask you something?
Go on.
Okay, I've got a little list of things. What do you think of, like, those pug dogs that are bred and they can hardly breathe?
Evil.
Yeah. What do you think of, gays?
They're alright. Do you know what I mean? Just like straight people, you get bad ones, you get good ones.
Exactly.
Right?
We've learned a lesson today, haven't we?
Absolutely.
White van Karl.
It's you, White Van Karl. Yeah, this is where we steal the White Van Man column from the Sun and basically fire those questions at Karl, getting his opinions on the week's news. Okay, Karl. Let me see. Okay, what do you make of this? The average woman, apparently, takes 27 minutes to get ready to go out. Did you know that?
Is it... Are they saying that's a good thing, or...
No, they're saying that the bare minimum it takes...
No,
this is what they said.
surely.
No. But I remember reading, I'm sure they said that it takes them 27 minutes to get ready to go out, at the very least, I
I mean,
think.
it's not that bad if it's for a night out. It's I mean, 30 minutes is alright.
If it's going to get to 20 woodbines.
But, yeah, or, you know, if the house is on fire, and it's like, quick,
Yeah.
get ready and get out.
I don't think it's in a fire, no. I think, yeah, go on.
I think that's
27 minutes, right? I'd take about 27 minutes.
I can take up to that.
But do they include the getting up, having a bath?
Doesn't give me any more details.
No?
27
Well,
minutes.
that's difficult to go by. Difficult to go on that one, isn't it?
How long does Suzanne take to go out of the house?
Depends, like I say, if we're just nipping out shopping,
the old flip-flops and trackies on?
yeah. But if you're going out for the night, it takes a bit longer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a wire in the trackies.
yeah.
Go on.
Okay, no, really don't know what the ins and outs of this story are. Is Sven-Goran Eriksson sticking with Nancy rather than Ulrika?
Was his wife in it, or his girlfriend?
Yeah, I don't know if this story's true. No one seems to have offered any evidence for it.
Anyway,
everyone remained silent.
It's rubbish.
And, okay, what do you make of this? David Beckham apparently was driving despite having an injured foot and just further threatening his World Cup chances. Now, obviously, you're a big football fan.
Well, I'm not that big. I like the odd game.
Sure.
Would that hurt him? Would that hurt his foot?
It can't be good.
Is it in a plaster? It's not in a big cast,
Sure,
is
it's
it?
better to drive than it is to walk on it.
Good point.
Fair enough, yeah.
Go.
Can't argue with
Can't
that.
get the bus, can he?
Okay, and what do you make of this fascist leader who's having a lot of success in the French presidential elections?
What's he doing?
Have you not come across this story?
No.
Right, this is one of the big political
So
stories.
he's got a far right that got nearly 20%.
He's a far-right fascist leader, and he's having considerable success in the French elections.
I don't think we should be asking Karl questions like this.
Not something you've got an opinion on?
I'm getting scared.
There's all sorts of bad stuff going on in the world that we don't know about. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But we know about this.
Yeah, but you're better off not knowing because there's nothing I can do about it.
You're absolutely right, Karl. Fair enough. I can't argue with that.
Oh, God,
man
that's
alive.
fantastic.
Sun every day asks some, average Joe, his views on the week's big stories. Karl, let me ask you now, what do you make of Prince Harry smoking openly at a polo club? Are you aware of this story?
No. Was it? Go on.
Prince Harry, you know that he's one of the royals.
Yeah.
And he was seen smoking openly, a fag, a cigarette, at a polo
Third
parade.
in line to the throne.
Something like that, yeah.
Imagine that. Someone smoking a cigarette was third in line to the throne.
A cigarette, Karl.
Is it a non-smoking polo club?
Do you know, I don't know, but if it were, would that make things even worse for you?
Well,
No,
yeah.
seriously, what do you make of it? This is, the whole, the furore is he's a role model, he's a royal, should he be seen puffing away in a public place?
I don't think it matters, does it?
Not a concern for you?
How old is he? Is he old enough to smoke?
I think he probably is, yes.
Right, yeah.
Well,
fine.
I think the trouble with this role model thing, with anything that's legal, it should either be illegal or not.
Yes.
I just don't think you can impose things like that, because you could say that it is bad for you, and it is bad to start smoking, and it really is bad for you, and it causes cancer and everything.
But everyone knows that, don't they?
Well, yeah, but you should either make it illegal or shut up about it. So this is Karl you're asking, isn't it?
I am indeed.
Sorry,
So we can throw these questions your way as well, if you fancy.
Sorry, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But Karl, what are your views generally? I mean, it's obviously cigarettes are perfectly legal and so on, but what about stronger narcotics? Because I know you're very scared of drugs and stuff, aren't you? You're
Yeah,
very-
I'm not a fan. I don't
No, what's your concern? What's your worry?
just that you might get into them.
Sure.
It's like you might have them and go, oh, this is alright.
Exactly, Karl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Although I was talking to you about it earlier, and you weren't very sympathetic about a lot of young people who have perhaps gone to crack or smack. You describe it as their own fault?
Sometimes it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I could have turned to it where I grew up, but I said, well, don't want to do that, it's not good for you.
Sure.
And I avoided it.
You turn to ghosts.
So you've got no sympathy for anyone who's a drug addict? It's their own fault, is your...
It depends, doesn't it?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You can be an addict if, I don't know, something, I'm trying to think of a nice way that
Well,
you
most
might
people
end up...
start on stuff like that because something really traumatic's happened to them. Very few people go out for a laugh one night and go, let's all try it.
Sure.
So, but, yeah.
Just
anyway.
say no, I suppose, is the
Just say
attitude
no,
in the end.
listen to the cast of Grange Hill.
Now, this will scare you. Now, Karl, you will be a little bit unnerved about this. Have you seen the film Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know what happened there? Well, according to the Sun here, it says scientists are planning to clone mammoths for a theme park. Look at his face, look at that, he looks like a dog caught in the headlights of a car, he's terrified.
I love Karl.
He sprung to attention
Karl.
there.
Is that the best news you could have?
Man moths.
Right.
Yeah, man
Karl,
moths.
I
Man
love
moths.
the fact that that's why he was so excited that they bred a man moth. What is this? Yeah, it's a human being that hides in your wardrobe and eats an entire jacket in a day.
Yeah.
What do you mean man moths? Mammoths. Mammoth, the big hairy cow from the Ice Age. I mean, elephant.
You're not so excited about that, then? You can take or leave bringing back mammoths to life, but a man moth...
A man moth is a different matter. Oh. If we'd have never brought that up, he'd have gone and told someone now, they've bred an half man, half moth. That's how things start.
This is what we mean when you hear these ghost stories.
Are you slightly deaf? Is that it? When you hear these stories, you're slightly deaf. And his head was in the basket, and he went, count how many times I blink.
Carl, is English your first language? Are you actually foreign? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Should we speak
when we say
slower?
foreign, we mean not of this planet.
Yeah. Should we speak slower? Would that be a help to you?
No, go on. Next
what do you make of that?
Do you think that's good? Would you think that's good to bring back mammoths?
Prehistoric animals?
These giant elephants.
They're slow, aren't they? It's not as if they're going to, like, get out and run fast and they can't capture them.
They'd probably be a fence, to be honest, Carl. They'd probably be a fence.
No, but you're asking it as if, like, it could all go wrong, but it couldn't, could it?
Well,
really?
but the point was about Jurassic Park is they thought it wouldn't go wrong. They thought they had it all under control.
Have you learned nothing from Jurassic Park, Carl?
Dinosaurs would say, think about it before you do it. But with a hairy elephant, it's not going to...
Not a concern for you. Would you go along to see him? Would you be interested in that?
If it was in the area.
He's the best. He's great, isn't he? I'd love a queue,
Nothing
right?
impresses
No,
him.
but what I'd like to do is Karl sitting like Yoda in a little cave, and I'd just like to see people like Tony Blair and, Stephen Hawking in a queue, and they go and say, Karl, got a bit of a problem,
and thinking of cloning a man and a moth. Problem? Not an issue. No, if I'm in the area, I might cruise around and have a look at it. Otherwise, just don't send it near my clothes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's just for a second. As the words man moth came into your head, how excited were you? I mean, were you both terrified and excited? Just for the moment when you thought that they'd cloned a man and a moth?
I pictured,
what kind of face did he have? Did he have the moth's head, or was it a man's head?
Just a little man head.
Right, what was his face? What did it look like?
He just was like, a bit shocked.
Perplexed, yeah. It was like he'd been grafted onto the body of a moth without his consent.
And when he was asleep,
he'd woken up.
He just went in to have a goiter removed, and they said, "We've replaced your goiter with the body of a giant moth."
Yeah,
is that all right, Mr. Jenkins?
So he had the head of a little. Was it a little boy or a man?
Little man.
Right. Okay.
And he's just bumping into a lamp.
He's just bumping into a lamp.
Carl, if you went into hospital. And they'd done something. What's the worst thing they could do, right? What would you rather have done, right? You wake up and you've got lobster claws for hands.
Right.
You wake up and you've got duck's feet. Or you wake up and you've got one horn coming out of your head.
The worst thing?
Yeah.
Probably the horn coming out of my head.
Why?
Get in the way.
That'd be useful, wouldn't it, in fights and stuff? And for like parties, people would play
I suppose the lobster claws would also be quite handy there. Definitely. Maybe we should bring back White Van Karl. There's some interesting questions this week, Rick.
Yeah.
We could pull that out of the bag if you're interested.
Shall we do that?
Just get Karl's take on the world's...
Let's do it, let's do it.
I'll tell you what, we'll do that in a second. Let's have another educating Rick. Listen, we haven't done it for a while. White Van Man. I thought there's some interesting questions raised today, and I think it might be nice to just throw them Karl's
I think we've set Karl up again in the last hour as a person that people want to know his opinions on the world.
If you're not familiar with it, on Saturdays the Sun newspaper asks a typical white van driver questions his opinions on the week's news, and we thought we'd throw these in the direction of Karl.
Good.
And then what do you make of this teenage thug, Karl, Mickey Carroll, who spent 4 months in jail and he's won 9.7 million on the lottery? Is that justice? When you think of all the good people that are going hungry? And there's a lad there and he's won...
Did he buy the ticket before he went in?
No, I think he bought it once he'd come out.
So he's done his time.
He's done his time.
Fair enough then, he's been punished.
Yeah.
Right, he's bought a ticket, he's had a lot of bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's having a bit of good luck.
Quite right, next one.
Are you concerned that now he's got all that money he could turn into like a sort of mastermind villain? You know, like a James Bond style villain? He's got a criminal streak, we know that. Is that a concern for you? I mean, imagine that he could build some kind of underwater fortress.
We don't, with my lawyer's hat on, we don't know that.
Yeah, well. Well, he'd have to prove that he didn't have a criminal streak. I'd say that you've been in jail for 4 months.
Yeah, but sometimes people are bad because they haven't got any money, so he might be an angel of gold now, or whatever the saying is.
1 in 5 children aged between 11 and 16 go on booze binge sessions at least once a week. That's terrifying news, isn't it?
Kids, they know too much now.
Yeah. You
Compared to you,
You
yeah.
despair.
Yeah, no, right?
Yeah.
Listen to this one, right?
Go on.
My dad had me niece in the car, right, running her to school one day, and she was in the back of the car with a mate, and they chatting away about stuff like kids do. And they got onto the topic of one of the mates, who they said, I mean, you've got to remember, my niece, this point, was probably about 5 or 6, something like that, right? In the back of the car, talking about My Little Pony, whatever it is they play with. Subject changed. Oh, that Lisa in our class, she's a lesbian, isn't she?
Right.
That was that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Chatting away about it.
Just openly talking about lesbianism.
And probably, you know, this is the topic that they're talking about in the pub when they're having one. Out drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they might have thought a lesbian was a funny word or something. You don't necessarily know the ins and outs of it, do they?
It's weird though, isn't it? Because when I was younger at school, you didn't like. I mean, you swore a little bit, but it wasn't like major swear words, and you sort of did a little bit of nicking, but nothing like they get up to now. I mean,
my girlfriend, when she was about 7 or 8, she was walking to school with her mum, and she called her a C-U-N. Right?
You are joking.
No, she said, because she thought it was a big. She said she thought it was a big furry animal. So she was being nice, and I remember, where'd you do that? Where'd you do that? Like, just heard it at school. So they might not know what it means.
Well, I tell you, I'm gonna have to use kind of euphemisms here to tell this story, but when I was at school, I learned, the stronger version, it's not the same word, but it's very similar with one letter changed. I'm gonna use twit.
Yeah.
You know the word I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna use the word twit to replace it, right? And I went round...
You think they're twat?
Yeah.
Alright.
That's what I'm thinking of. And, so can I say it? Am I allowed to say it?
No, it's weird though, because
hang on,
some people from Cornwall use that like saying twit. So, if people listen in Cornwall...
Do you know what a twit is? A pregnant goldfish.
Well...
Well, I learned the stronger version of twit.
Yeah.
Twat. For those that aren't sure. I learned this at school when I was like 10 or whatever, and I didn't know what it meant. I thought it was just a stronger version of twit. Yeah. I thought it was just if you were really annoyed with someone because they were a real twit.
Because I is worse than I.
Exactly, apparently. So, Karl would be a twit. And so I started using this at home, because I didn't realise what it meant. I started using this at home, oh, you twit, you're a twit, and saying it to my dad, you're a twit, but not saying twit. Yeah. And my dad didn't know what it meant either.
That's great!
I couldn't believe. So he started using it as well, right? So then we'd be driving in the car, he'd be saying to my mum, you stupid twit. Yeah. Saying to my mum, you don't pull over, you're gonna bum it, you twat. Saying this. Then I learned at school from Mark Johnson what it really meant.
Yeah.
Stopped using it, obviously finding out it was quite an offensive word.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it up to my dad. I didn't want to sit my dad down and say, Dad, you know that word we've been saying? Yeah. You know what it means? So now, to this day, I've never brought it up with him. So we'll be driving, I go home for Christmas, we'll be driving around, he'll be calling my mum that word. Left, right and centre. I think she knows. I think she's just embarrassed. Or she's just upset, and she knows what it means. She goes, why does he keep calling me this terrible word? But he's the only one, I think, in our family who doesn't know what it means. No one's got the guts to say, I don't know whether I should tell him this Christmas.
What a twat.
I know. It's a long time since we've had any white van Karl. For those that don't remember this particular hot feature, we basically ask Karl some of the questions that are asked of a white van driver in the Sun. They always have this on Saturday afternoons. Anyway, here's the first one. They're not fascinating, Karl, but I'm just interested on your take, really.
Yeah.
What do you make of Cilla Black quitting Blind Date after her husband sent a message from beyond the grave? Are you familiar with this story?
I didn't know that. What's that?
She went to see a medium, and supposedly her husband passed on information through the medium, which was incredibly vague, but persuaded her to quit live on air.
Well, it's about time, isn't it? If even dead people are saying, enough's enough. But I'll tell you what, though, talking about ghosts and that, do you know how I'm into them?
Yeah.
Right? How weird do you think this is, right?
Well, it's not true. Before you say it, play a record.
No, go on.
Go on.
Right, it's this woman. I don't even know if it's ghost, really. It's just a bit weird.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
There's this woman, and she's not a woman, she's a kid.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
She's walking down, like, a street in her area. It's a nice day and everything. Everything's normal. She's walking down, and a woman comes up, cycling past, right? The woman on the bike looks at the kid, absolutely terrified, right? Got a really scary face on her.
Yeah.
The kid's thinking, why is she doing that?
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, she thinks nothing of it, goes I think she was playing in the park or whatever, goes and has a nice day. About 15 years later...
Oh, right, yeah.
She's... I don't know, I think she was going to work, right, on a bike.
She was riding her own bike?
Riding her own bike, cycling down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Looks at the kid. That's the thing that happened, like, 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
It's her on the bike looking at her as a kid.
Right. Not another child.
No. So
Right.
it's her, she's seen herself.
Carl? I mean, I don't know where to start.
Firstly, where's this information come from?
But, I mean, why do you ever... I mean, I don't know what part of that you think can be true. I mean, honest, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. What are you talking about?
Bit weird, though, isn't it?
But it's not true.
It didn't happen. Nothing happened like that.
She said it did.
Well, then she's wrong.
She said she saw herself.
She saw herself as a kid, didn't she?
Did she carry on riding
and as
past?
an adult when she was a kid.
Did she stop and talk to herself? Or did she ride on by and think, that's a bit weird, there's me as an 8-year-old. I won't stop, I'll be late for work.
Yeah, if I'm late again, the boss said he'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
And where is this information? Did it happen to someone you know?
No.
You overheard it on the bus?
No, it was in the 14 Times.
Ah, right. Well,
Okay.
that's the answer.
Good.
We've
Okay.
got to the bottom of that.
Right, good. Brilliant.
Now, what do you make of David Blunkett accusing gangster rappers of making kids believe guns are cool? It's a hot topic there, Karl, and I imagine you've got some strong opinions.
He's saying what?
He is saying, basically, that all this rap music is advocating gun use and violence against people, and he's very worried about it.
Nah.
Okay.
All right.
What's the next one?
Have you thought about going into politics? Because I'll tell you this, they wouldn't be able to argue with you, really, in the Houses of Parliament. They'd have where would they start?
Yeah. My fellow is an idiot.
Yeah.
No, but violence has always been about, isn't it? Like cowboys and Indians, they didn't have PlayStations and 2-pack then, and there was still violence.
What do you mean? In the Wild West?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really blame it on stuff. It'll always happen. That's that's the world, and it's made up of different types and that.
Again, he's right. Again, he's sort of right in a way, in his innocence, in his buffoonery.
I didn't hear what he said.
He just said there's always been violence. You know what I mean? It's sort
Even
of like,
dinosaurs. Look at them. They caused a lot.
and
of
then he
trouble.
went too far and made himself sound
No,
like a
but,
fool again.
but I'm just saying, it's always happened. It always will.
Yeah.
Don't try and change it.
Yeah, just chill out is what you're saying.
Do you know what we should do? We should all get on our bike, go and find ourselves when we're little, and go. Be careful what you do in life.